In this video, we are going to see about the interface. So what is the point to remember? So interface is like an abstract class, okay, but it will have all the method abstract, right? And interface is not a class, it is a different thing, right? That means that you cannot have object of an interface like that we have object of an abstract class at runtime. Okay, so we can have the object of abstract class implicitly at runtime. Not user cannot create the object of abstract class, but it would be created by the Java runtime environment when you run the program. Okay, so that is the major difference between the interface and the abstract class. So remember that in the interface, all the method would be abstract. Okay, so let's declare our first interface. Okay, so here I'm in our project. There I'm declaring one interface. So I'm clicking on new. And here, though I'm selecting this Java class, here I'm going to choose the option of interface. Right now, here I'm choosing the different option and giving the name of interface like this, that my interface. Okay, so this is the valid interface of the Java, even though it has nothing, right? It has nothing, right? This is the valid interface of the Java, right? Now, how this interface can be used? Okay, so let me create one class over here. Okay, I can have one class that is the sample class. Okay, so here, let's see that what I can do is, let me split to the right. Okay. So here that interface is used like this. That consider that if you want to use the interface, it would be used like this. That sample implements. Okay. So guys, remember this keyword. That is the implements. Okay. So implements. What I supposed to write? My interface. Okay. Here you can see that we are using the my interface with the sample class. Okay, so this is the difference. Now here in the interface you can have data as well as method declaration. Okay, so I'm going to show you both of the things so that you can declare a data like this, that integer I is equal to 10. Okay, is what you can declare, and also you can declare the method like that integer, sorry, let's say void method a. Okay, in interface you cannot provide the implementation of the method. The method should be abstract only. Okay, so immediately once you add the method declaration in the interface, you can see the error in the implementing class, that it says that the class sample must either be declared abstract or implement the abstract method A in my interface. Okay, so what I supposed to do, I'm just going to click on the implement methods. That method A is selected over here and clicking on OK. And once I have the implementation of the method A over here, then the error would be gone, right? So what does it mean? It means that if you implement the interface and if the interface has the method declaration, then you must require to do the implementation of the method in the subclass, that is the sample in our case. Okay, so whatever you write, suppose I'm writing s out. Okay, and here I'm writing subclass has implemented the method. Okay, then this is going to work. Okay, suppose if you have another method, let's say the void method b. Okay, again that error would come over here. It says that you have to implement all the abstract method, right? So let's implement the method b. Okay, right? So here let me write the statement like method a, and for the second method I'm just pasting method b. Okay, right? Now suppose if I have a main method, I'm just going to create main method inside this. Okay, so public static void main. Okay, I'm just creating the object of sample s is equal to new sample, right? Okay, and if I will call the method like that, s method a and s dot method b. Okay, and if I run this main method, okay, then it will display the output, that is subclass has implemented method A followed by subclass has implemented method B, and here it is. Okay. Now the next thing is, can I create the object of interface? The answer should be no. Why not? Because that there is no implementation. Okay, so if there is no implementation, then the object won't be there. Right? The same was there with the abstract class. As the abstract class was not having a complete implementation, that's why that Java does not allow user to create the object of abstract class. Whereas in the case of interface, it is possible. Sorry, it is also not possible, right? So if you will try to do like this, that my interface m is equal to new my interface, and suppose if we are writing this, okay, that means that you cannot create the object of interface, obviously, right? Okay, so let me put this in the comment, right? Now here, that as with the abstract class, that can the interface have the constructor? No, the interface would never have a constructor. Why? The reason is that the object of interface is never going to create it. Okay, and there won't be any instance member in the interface. Okay, remember this thing. I'm going to show you one more thing, that can I have the type of the object, the type of interface? Yes, that is possible. Instead of sample, if here if you want to write that my interface, that is completely okay, right? That means that whatever things are declared inside the my interface, only those things would be accessible by this particular reference. Okay, suppose if you would declare something else, let's say that public void method C, okay, in this class sample, and now if you will try to access that s dot method C, then it will give you the error that method C is not defined in the interface. Okay, let's go ahead. So, what are the rules to declare the interface? Let's see the first one, that interface methods are implicitly public and abstract unless they're declared as default or static. So later on we will come to this point, that how to declare the default and static method in the interface. So that here it says that the interface methods are by default public and abstract. Okay, so even though here if we haven't written, okay, by default the methods are like this, that public, abstract. Okay, the methods are like this. Okay, whether you write or not, by default the interface method are public. Okay, remember this thing. The another rule is that interface can declare only only constants, right? And that constant would be public, static, and final. It is not the instance variable. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? That this is the data that we can declare in the interface, but this is not a normal data. It is a constant. Okay, it is what? Constant. So suppose that in Java we know that the constant is declared like this, that final. Okay, constant is declared with the help of keyword final. That means that this value cannot be changed. Okay, let me show you how. Suppose here, if you will try to write, let me put this in a comment, and if you will try to do that s dot I, okay, that is not possible, right? But what you can do, that you can write like this, that my interface dot I, and if you will try to change the value, let's say 30, this will give you the error. What is the error? The error says that the I is final variable and its value should not be changed, right? That is, this is not possible, right? So that whatever data that you declare in the interface, by default it is static and final. That means that it's supposed to be accessed, it's supposed to be accessed with the interface name or the implementing class name. Suppose that here the class is sample, right? Or it's okay that directly also you can write like this, that let me write, instead of my interface you can write sample. This is also perfectly okay, right? But obviously as it is the final variable, it will not allow you to change the value. But what else I can do, I can write this in the system.out.println. Let me write s out and sample.i. This is perfectly okay. That data could be referred with the help of the subclass name. That is possible. Okay, so this rule says interface can declare only constant. Okay, and those are not instance variable. The third one is that interface methods cannot be marked, final, strict, FP, and native. Okay, suppose if you will try to write this methods as final like this. Okay, this is wrong. That means that once you mark the method final, that means that that method overriding is not possible, and we must require to do method overriding in the subclass, right? So this is not permissible in the interface. Okay, FP is also not allowed with the help of interface. Later on, we will come to this, right? Strict FP. Okay, it is STRICT Okay, this is also not permissible, right? The combination of modify that is strict FP and abstract. Abstract method cannot be a strict FP, right? And the third one that you cannot use the native keyword also, right? This would be basically to create or to call the native code of your operating system. So that is also not available in the interface method declaration. Okay, remember this thing. Next one is that interface can extend one or more other interface. Okay, so suppose here this is our interface. Okay, let's create one more interface over here in the same file. There is interface. Let's say interface A. Okay, I have created one interface, and let me create one more. That is interface B. We have created two more interface. Okay, so it is possible that you can extend the interface like this. Extends interface A. That is possible. Okay, can we extend more than one interface? Let me write interface B. Does it allow me? Yes, it allows me that I can extend more than one interface. Okay, remember one thing that in Java, if you extend the class, then class would be extended by only one class. Okay, or that class can extend only one class. Okay, but interface, it is possible to extend multiple interface. That is possible. Okay, so an interface can extend one or more other interface. Okay, the interface cannot extend anything but another interface. That means that suppose if you have a class like sample, and if you want to extend that sample class over here like this, that is not possible, right? This is not possible. That interface cannot. It says that it is a cyclic that inheritance. Okay, so let me remove this implement from over here. Okay, now here you can see this is not permissible. Interface accepted here, and this is not interface. This is what? It is a class. Okay. Next one, that interface cannot implement another interface or class. Okay, so that means here you cannot write like this that implements. Okay, that is not possible. Even though if you will write the interface name, let's say interface A, that is not possible. Okay, that is not possible. So let me remove this and let me write X. Okay, so here also I'm writing. Okay, next one is that interface must be declared with the keyword interface, and that is what we have done. That interface must be declared with the keyword interface. It should not be a class. Okay, last one, that interface types can be used polymorphically. Like here, if you see that what we have done, that instead of specifying a return a type of reference is the sample. Instead of that, what we have specified my interface. Okay, so that is completely okay. The only constraint would be what, that now you would able to refer the members which are declared in the interface. Let's go ahead. Interface have the following properties. What are the properties? The interface is simply implicitly abstract. You do not need to use the abstract keyword while declaring an interface. By default, it is an abstract. Okay. Each method in the interface is also implicitly abstract, so the abstract keyword is not needed, as we have seen. And methods in the interface are implicitly public. Remember this thing. Does that mean I cannot extend a class? Okay, so no, I can extend a class. Okay, so you can do like this, that interface and So here you can see, suppose you have a class called IMPL and you require to extend another class called my class. That is possible. So you can do like that. You can use the keyword extend followed by the class name and followed by the implementing the interface. So there is a syntax that when you declare a class, the first keyword would be class followed by class name followed by the extend keyword if it is there and followed by the class name followed by implements followed by the interfaces name. This is possible. Okay, so yeah, interface provides the option of the loose coupling. Let's see like how, like consider that you have the animal interface which has a child method. So cat is an animal, right? Okay, so obviously cat required to implement the child method, right? Similarly, you can see that dog is also implementing the animal and it is implementing the child method, right? And another one is that if we have the main method and if you create the object of animal, right, and if you creating the object of cat and assigning the reference of animal, at that time which child would be called? So obviously this particular child would be called. Okay, and how that would be resolved? That would be resolved by looking at the type of cat. Okay, remember this, and this is how it provides the loose coupling. Suppose if you would be having the object of dog over here, then it would call the this particular method, right? When overriding a method defined in interfaces, there are several rules to be followed. Okay, so basically, what we do, we providing the implementation in the class subclass. So that means we are overriding it. Okay, so what happens that the check exception should not be declared on implementation method or other than the ones declared by the interface method or the subclass of those declared by the interface method. The second one is that the signature of the interface method and the same return type or a subtype should be maintained when overriding the method. The return type should not be changed. Okay. An implementation class itself can be abstract, and if so interface method need not be implemented. Okay, so let me show you this with the help of example. Suppose if I don't want to implement all these method, okay, let me put into the comment. So what else I can do? I can declare this class as an abstract class like this. Okay, here now there is no necessity to implement the method. Okay, then who will implement all this method? The class that will extend the sample. Okay, that is going to implement all the abstract methods. Okay, remember this thing. So while implementing an interface, there are several rules. A class can implement more than one interface at a time, as we have seen. Like suppose here, if you want to, like, let me remove this from this my interface, and here suppose if I want to implement multiple interfaces, I can do that. Interface A, that is possible. Okay, and similarly, I can have interface B also. This is also completely okay, right? Here you can see we don't have any error over here, right? I can do all these things. A class can extend only one class but implement many interfaces, as we have discussed earlier that the class extends object class, right? Okay, but suppose if you will try to extend one more class, let's say the math class, okay, that is not permissible, okay? It gives you the error, right? Cannot inherit sorry, this is the final class. Okay, so let me remove this, but here let me write let's say thread. Okay, thread is one of the Java class. Here it gives the appropriate error that class cannot extend multiple classes, right? Okay, so this is not possible. You can extend you can implement multiple interfaces, but you cannot extend multiple classes. Okay, an interface can extend another interface in a similar way as class can extend another class. So this is what we have discussed earlier. Okay, so this is the example that consider the sport is the interface, and that interface has been extended by the another interface called football, and hockey is also extending, right? So see, remember the thumb rules that the extend keyword is supposed to be used when you are extending the functionality. So here you are extending the functionality. Here you are having two functions then 3 functions. That means you made total 5 functions. Okay, so that is the meaning of that. Now, can class implement multiple interface? Yes, that's possible. Okay, taking an interface, this is also interesting example. Consider that these two are the interfaces which we have declared. Okay, and there we are having demo class which is implementing only one interface, div1. Okay, and there is some implementation over here. Okay, now we have a class main. Inside the main class, we have a main method, and we are creating the object of demo. Demo d is equal to new demo. And here, suppose if I'm writing the if statement with the condition that whether the d is instance of d1, okay, right? Then it should print this, and if the else the d is instance of div2, then it should print div2. It is like that. Okay, so when you will run this program at that time, what is going to print? It is going to print this statement, that is what, div1, because that div is instance of div1. How? Because that the demo has implemented the div1. Okay, so as per the rule of inheritance, that we can say that the d is instance of, sorry, this object is instance of demo as well as the div1 both. Okay, so can I have data in the interface? Yes, we can have a data like we can declare the data like this, but the data would be constant, right? Okay, we'll come back to this in the later on. But the important point is what? Okay, the data is implicitly declared like this. It is declared like public, static, final, integer with followed by the data name. Okay, so this is ultimately what, constant.